38% of American adults do not invest in the stock market at all, not because they cannot, not because the option is unavailable to them, but because nobody ever explained what not investing actually costs. Only 62% of Americans invest in the market at all, and the top 1% holds 50% of all stock wealth, worth $23 trillion. The bottom half of the country holds just 1%, $480 billion. Today, we are going to run that math. And by the end of this video, you will understand why compound interest is the single most powerful force available to an ordinary person building extraordinary wealth, and why the day you start is the most important financial decision you will ever make. Welcome to week 3 of Financial Literacy Foundations. If you are here for the first time, I recommend starting with week 1. The link is in the description. If you are in the certificate track, you have now completed 3 of 26 required modules. The Phase 1 quiz goes live after week 4. Make sure you are enrolled. The link is in the description. Now, let's talk about the most important mathematical concept in personal finance. Here's the definition. Compound interest is interest earned on both your original principal and on the interest that is already accumulated. In plain terms, your money earns money, and then that earned money earns money, and then that money earns money. This cycle, repeated over time without interruption, is how modest amounts become significant wealth. Let me make this concrete with the simplest possible example. You invest $10,000 at an 8% average annual return. 8% is the approximate long-term historical average for a diversified U.S. stock market index, a figure rooted in nearly a century of market data. After year 1, you have $10,800. The $800 is your interest. After year 2, you earn 8% not on $10,000, but on $10,800. So you earn $864 instead of $864 more for doing nothing except not touching the money. That $64 seems small, but that is the key insight. Compound interest is not dramatic in year 1. It is transformational over decades. Here is the $10,000 example over time without adding a single additional dollar. After 10 years, $21,589. After 20 years, $46,610. After 30 years, $100,627. After 40 years, $217,002. $145, you put in $10,000. Without adding another dollar, 40 years later, you have $217,000. The additional $207,000 was created entirely by time and inaction, by not spending the money you had already invested. This is why every year you delay starting is not just a missed year of returns. It is a missed year at the foundation of a curve that grows exponentially. This is the comparison that changes people's behavior when they see it. I want you to look at these numbers carefully. 3 people, same monthly contribution, $200 per month, same investment vehicle, a diversified index fund averaging 8% annually. The only variable is when they start. Person A starts at age 25. By age 65, off 40 years of investing, their portfolio is worth approximately $702,000. Person B starts at age 35. By age 65, 30 years of investing, their portfolio is worth approximately $298,000. Person C starts at age 45. By age 65, 20 years of investing, their portfolio is worth approximately $118,000. Same monthly investment, same rate of return. A 10-year difference in start date costs person B over $400,000. A 20-year difference costs person C over $580,000. Person A contributed a total of $96,000 of their own money. Person B contributed $72,000. Person C contributed $48,000. Person A contributed the most and received more than 5 times the ending balance of Person C, not because they were smarter or earned more, because they started earlier and let time do the work that money alone cannot. Here is the corollary that surprises people. If Person A had invested only from age 25 to 35, 10 years, and then stopped investing entirely for the next 30 years, letting their existing balance compound untouched, they would still end up with approximately $517,000 at age 65. Person B invested consistently for 30 years and ended up with $298,000. 10 years of early investing, then stopping completely, outperformed 30 years of consistent late investing. That is not a motivational claim. That is the mathematics of exponential growth applied to time. The earlier decade is simply worth more than the later decades. The rule of 72 is a quick mental calculation that tells you how long it takes for an investment to double at any given rate of return. Divide 72 by your annual rate of return. The result is the approximate number of years until your money doubles. At 8%, 72 divided by 8 equals 9 years to double. At 6%, 72 divided by 6 equals 12 years to double. At 4%, 72 divided by 4 equals 18 years to double. At 2%, roughly what some traditional savings accounts pay, 72 divided by 2 equals 36 years to double. This is why the difference between where you keep your money matters enormously. Not just what you save, but where it lives. Now, an essential distinction that most financial content glosses over. Everything we have discussed so far is the nominal return, the headline percentage your investment grows. But there is also the real return, the growth after adjusting for inflation. If your portfolio returns 8%, but inflation runs at 3%, your real return is approximately 5%. Your money is growing, but the purchasing power of each dollar is being quietly eroded. This is not a reason to avoid investing. It is a reason to invest in assets that historically outpace inflation, which diversified equity index funds have done over virtually every long-term historical period. It is also a critical reason why keeping long-term savings in cash or low-interest accounts is not a conservative strategy. It is a strategy of guaranteed loss of purchasing power. Here is where compound interest connects to something larger than personal finance. The Pew Charitable Trust published research in 2025 showing that by 2024, the wealthiest 10% of Americans held 11 times more wealth than the bottom 50%. In 1989, that ratio was 7 times. The wealth gap is not widening primarily because the rich earn higher salaries. It is widening because invested wealth compounds. The wealthy have assets that generate returns, and those returns generate more returns, and those returns generate more returns over decades. The bottom 50% who hold almost no invested assets receive almost none of compound interest benefits. They are not riding the curve, they are watching it from the outside. This is not presented to be discouraging. It is presented because understanding the mechanism is the first step to participating in it. The minimum investment to start benefiting from compound interest is not $10,000. It is not $1,000. With modern index funds and brokerage accounts, you can begin with $1. The curve is available to you right now, today, regardless of where you are starting from. The only variable that matters, that you control entirely, is when you begin. 3 things before you close this video. 1, calculate the compound interest on your current savings or investments using the calculator in the description. If you have nothing invested yet, model what would happen if you invested $100 per month starting today for 20 years. Write that number down. That is your motivation. 2, identify the one expense in your monthly budget that, if redirected to investing, would add at least $50 per month to your investment contributions. You do not need to eliminate it, just identify it. Awareness precedes action. 3. If you have not yet opened an investment account, that changes this week. Not this month, this week. Week 15 of this course covers exactly how to do it, step by step, but there is no rule that says you have to wait. The link to a brokerage comparison guide is in the description. Next week, week 4, we are going to go inside the psychology of money. Because the math of compound interest is simple, the behavior required to let it work is where most people struggle. We are going to cover why you spend the way you do and how to change it using behavioral economics research, not willpower. Subscribe so you do not miss it. I will see you in week 4.